It's coming back, man. It's coming back, man. Relax, 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 relax. Roger came in here and said the exact same thing. It's coming back. Nah, I didn't watch Drewski shit. Is it good? I never really watched none of them shits on stream. Like, I don't know. I just never really overly cared to watch them.
For some viewers, as it sheds light on a rarely discussed dark chapter in Japanese.
This video contains references to violences, sexual abuse, and disturbing imagery. Please proceed with caution.
History. 1938. A mild summer day in China on the grounds of Unit 731. Professors, scientists, and military doctors are conducting important research here. Now, the workday is coming to an end. The adults are drinking beer by the pool of the facility. Children are playing tug of war. It's a beautiful sunset.
Beautiful day.
The people next door in the barracks are unaware of this. For them, there is no end to the day. No yesterday, today, or tomorrow. They don't know if it's day or night. They know only one thing. A cruel death awaits.
What the fuck? No. See, one thing about it, bro. One thing I do notice a lot about like these, I ain't even gonna say the torture labs, but like a lot about these like torturing type of videos and all this extra shit I be watching. Why does all of this shit be stemming from either China, Japan, or somewhere around like Asia? Why does it be stemming from Asia, bro? I ain't gonna lie. Like that one case about I forgot her name. It was the girl though. It was the girl. The dude was trying to pull up on the girl. That was the most sick video I watched all the time, by the way. That was sick. Fucking, it was the guy. It was the kid. It was a little kid trying to pull up on the girl. Or something like that. They were teenagers or whatever. And after he didn't do that, he like knocked her out or like beat her up. And next time he dragged her in the chamber. And they kept doing some crazy wild shit. Like lighting her on fire, but she never died. They would throw cinder blocks on top of her head. Smashing her fingers. This, that, and the third. They would do just crazy shit to just torturing her. All because she didn't want to fuck with the nigga. And it was like, bro. Gang, I think that was Japan or something like that. That was sick, bro. I like Japan, but I can't let the history just slide. I ain't gonna lie, bro. This the sick part of Japan no one wants to ever run into. We just want to stay, everybody wants to just stay on the fun side. And I'm niggas that want to just stay on the fun side, but it's time we learn, guys. Come on, the dark secrets.
The First World War ended nearly 10 years ago, claiming 17 million lives. Japan fought alongside the Allies. As a result of their victory, Japan's economy is now thriving. The empire, under Emperor Taisho, is a member of the League of Nations. Japan enjoys good international relations, participating in conferences on disarmament and arms control, all in the name of preserving peace. In Geneva, the seat of the League of Nations, Japan signs a historic protocol.
The high contracting parties, so far as they are not already parties to treaties prohibiting such use, accept this prohibition, agree to extend this prohibition to the use of bacteriological methods of warfare, and agree to be bound as between themselves according to the terms of this declaration.
The prohibition of these weapons is a reaction to an incident in the First World War. For the first time, German troops systematically used poison gas as chemical weapons. The result was so horrific that the 36 found...
What the fuck is this? Is Japan... They're talking about the history of Japan's secret torture lab that they had. Japan had torture labs.
...to an incident in the First World War. For the first time, German troops systematically used poison gas as chemical weapons. The result was so horrific that the 36 founding signers decided such a thing must never happen again. About 9,600 kilometers away from Switzerland, a 33-year-old military doctor in Japan reads a report on the Geneva Protocol. He is electrified and sees it as confirmation of a theory he has been nurturing for some time. Biological weapons must hold enormous potential if they are so reviled. And he comes to a conclusion quite different from that of the signatories in Geneva.
If the prospect of germ warfare created such dread, Japan must do everything in its power to create the most virulent germ weapons, as well as effective methods for destroying wartime enemies with lethal diseases.
This military doctor, named Ishii Shiro, will devote his entire life to researching methods of biological warfare. In this endeavor, he will be aided by around 20,000 employees, and an estimated 300,000 people will fall victim to Japan's bioweapons program.
The fuck? A man with ambition.
Ishii is regarded as very intelligent, if not even a genius. At the same time, he is described as ruthless, extremely arrogant, and ambitious. Someone who would stop at nothing to advance his...
I know this is AI, and I know the AI generating all these characters and like things like that, but if that nigga genuinely looked like that in real life, bro, you can watch any, doesn't matter, show, anime, movie. Why do all these niggas be having that same
extremely arrogant and
the same type of glasses too when they be that evil
and ambitious, someone who would stop at nothing to advance his career. When he pitches his idea to the military leadership, his ultra-nationalist stance becomes evident.
What if enemy states attack us with biological weapons? Then we would be helpless. And we can take advantage of new weapons technology offensively. What if we face a shortage of iron and steel during an economic crisis? We can kill two birds with one stone.
I'm sorry, but bro, listen, I know that's the AI generated voice for that nigga talking, but like, hold on, man, why the niggas? I know that nigga didn't sound like.
Nationalist stance becomes evident.
What if enemy states attack us with biological weapons? Then we would be helpless. And we can take advantage of new weapons technology offensively. What if we face a shortage of iron and steel during an economic crisis? We can kill two birds with one stone. Biological warfare saves money and resources while creating an invaluable killing potential.
In 1928, Ishii, likely on behalf of the army, embarks on a 2-year world tour. He aims to collect research findings on biological warfare. When he returns to Japan in 1930, the political landscape in the country has changed. Under the new emperor Hirohito, ultra-right politicians are in power. Japan's economy has been severely hit by the global economic crisis. In these circumstances, Ishii's ambitions find fertile ground. He wants to create an entirely new institution, the Institute for Epidemic Prevention. Once again, he pitches his idea to the War Ministry, claiming that other countries are secretly developing biological weapons too. That's what he supposedly discovered during his world tour. Now, the War Minister himself becomes interested in Ishii's research. The government provides him with the necessary resources. They revive Japan's chemical war tour. Now, the War Minister himself becomes interested in Ishii's research. The government provides him with the necessary resources. They revive Japan's chemical warfare unit, a remnant from World War I. In 1932, Ishii's institute begins its work. Ishii and his team experiment with the pathogens for glanders, cholera, typhoid, gas gangrene, anthrax, and plague. Ishii is particularly interested in the latter. To him, the plague is one of the most dangerous potential bacterial weapons. During his travels, he studied the effects of the plague in Europe from the 14th to the 17th century. The institute's name conceals the second part of Ishii's research.
There are two types of bacteriological warfare research, A and B. A is assault research, and B is defense research. Vaccine research is of the B type, and this can be done in Japan. However, A-type research can be done abroad.
The problem with biological weapons is that pathogens don't distinguish between friend and foe. An out-of-control epidemic would endanger millions of people in Tokyo. And Ishii is convinced to develop the perfect biological weapon, a bit of lab research is not enough. He wants to test his developments on a large scale, regularly, extensively, on human subjects. The political climate is perfect for Ishii's plans. Japan's new military leaders want to expand. They are more aggressive than their predecessors. Some of them aim to occupy Manchuria. The Chinese region is militarily weak and rich in resources. In 1931, Japan makes a move and actually occupies the region. A year later, they established the puppet state of Manchukuo. The invasion of Manchuria is considered Japan's most decisive early step on the road toward totalitarian fascism and war. In Ishii's eyes, the now Japanese colony is perfect for his work. Potential accidents wouldn't endanger the Japanese population. Vast, sparsely populated areas guarantee secrecy. And then there are the inhabitants themselves, human subjects for his experiments. Ideal conditions for A-type investigations into biological assault. Thus, Ishii requests the relocation of his institute to
Fuzzled, a second history. I ain't gonna lie. I'm confused too, but it's like I get it at the same time. But I'm not catching everything he's saying. I ain't gonna lie. I'm not everything he's saying is not converting with me. But I'm catching things. I'm catching things though. I'm not catching everything, but I'm catching things though. I know he's trying to test his crazy bombshell or whatever the fuck he's making in science on humans though. I caught that. I ain't gonna lie. I caught that shit though. Everything he's trying to test is on humans.
And then there are the inhabitants themselves, human subjects for his experiments. Ideal conditions for A-type investigations into biological assault. Thus, Ishii requests the relocation of his institute to Manchuria. In order to tell this story in depth, we pored over books, analyzed documents, and created detailed animations, all to make a tough topic such as this one accessible. If you like our work and our channel, chances are you enjoy learning about new things. And if you do, you will love the app Imprint.
Shut up, Fern, but we ain't got time for the ass though, man. The horrors of Manchuria.
In Beijing, he builds the world's first bio-war death camp. Zongma Fortress is a combination of research laboratory and prison camp. It doesn't take much to be sent there by the Japanese colonial power. Soon the prison cells are filled with bandits, guerrilla fighters, partisans, communists, dissidents, and intellectuals.
Damn.
Suspicion that a person might be anti-Japanese minded is enough. They become part of the A-type research, human experiments with biological weapons. How many prisoners were killed is unknown to this day. The average life expectancy of the prisoners is about 1 month.
What the
Japan
fuck?
tries to keep
1 month?
average life How many prisoners were killed is unknown to this day. The average life expectancy of the prisoners is about 1 month.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. Fuck that shit. Zongma Fortress, bro. Hell to the hell no. I've been live for 2 hours, Barney.
Known to this day. The average life expectancy of the prisoners is about 1 month. Japan tries to keep the activities at the fortress strictly secret. In Tokyo, the government knows exactly about what's happening in the complex. None of the high-ranking politicians speak up exactly about what's activities at the fortress strictly secret. In Tokyo, the government knows exactly about what's happening in the complex.
In Tokyo, knew exactly what the hell was going on. At least the government. Bro, I ain't gonna lie, bro. You know, like, okay, Japan always gonna be my top one and shit like that. You know, but holy shit. I ain't gonna lie, bro. Imagine just like walking past or just walking past like the area where a lot of this shit was going on. I highly doubt, obviously, they would have no statue or stone of no fucking nigga that was like bombing humans and shit like that. But imagine just walking past that shit not knowing that all of that shit just really went down. I ain't gonna lie. Who, Quan? Oh yeah, he fucked up.
Is about 1 month.
He fucked up.
Japan tries to keep the activities at the fortress strictly secret. In Tokyo, the government knows exactly about what's happening in the complex. None of the high-ranking politicians speak out against the killings, or as the scientists there call it, sacrificing human beings. But before Ishii and his team can really get going, the Beijing fortress becomes a security risk. A group of prisoners manages to escape. An ammunition depot is blown up, probably by a group of communist resistance fighters. The project could be exposed. Ishii orders the fortress to be destroyed to cover up any possible traces. He presses the Japanese government. The new site for his research should be even bigger, even more remote. No one should be able to escape. In 1936, Emperor Hirohito personally issues a decree. Ishii's institute is to expand. It becomes part of the Kwantung Army, creating a large network of locations. The head
we can't be on we can't be on topics like this and you just come in here saying some shit.
Hirohito personally issues a decree. Ishii's institute is to expand. It becomes part of the Kwantung Army, creating a large network of locations. The headquarters are built in Pingfang. The unit stationed there is given the number 731, a codename that will go down in history. Pingfang is in a remote area, but still near the South Manchurian railway line. The new tracks leading to Pingfang officially don't exist. The secret trains that run there have a single purpose: transporting supplies, human ones included. About 150 buildings are erected over 6 square kilometers. A power plant, administrative offices, prisons, stables, greenhouses, autopsy rooms. There's even an airfield for the unit's air fleet. Trenches line the perimeter of the zone. Electric fences and watchtowers secure the area. The airspace above is a no-fly zone. Ishii runs the headquarters. He's in charge of 3,500.
Look at this shit, bro. I know obviously this is AI. He obviously don't know what the nigga really looked like with standard or anything like that. But just imagine just fucking seeing that, gang. You think this nigga's normal? I mean, obviously the other niggas weren't normal around him either. But it's like, bruh, hell no. You walk past that shit and you look out the window and you see that nigga staring like that? You think you want to be anywhere close to the shit?
1,000 employees. He has recruited many of Japan's best medical researchers. They are all focused on one question: how can plague, cholera, anthrax, and so many more diseases be weaponized for war?
They're trying to use diseases? Oh, hell, see. They're trying to use diseases
as staff bring in a middle-aged prisoner to a room, he's quiet. He knows it's over for him. He's stripped naked and tied to the bed. But when the medical assistant picks up a scalpel, the prisoner finally starts screaming.
I cut him open from his chest to his stomach, and he screamed terribly. His face twisted in agony. The sound was unimaginable. He screamed so horribly. But finally, he stopped. This was just another day for the surgeons, but it really stuck with me because it was my first time.
This Chinese prisoner has been deliberately infected with the plague and is now being dissected alive. The researchers want to see how the plague ravages his internal organs. Anesthesia isn't used as it could interfere with the results. Between 1936 and 1945, at least 3,000 people are murdered in experiments like this one, though the actual number is likely much higher. As the Pacific War breaks out in Japan,
over 3,000 niggas killed through experiments, gang.
Though the actual number is likely much higher. As the Pacific War breaks out and Japan later attacks Pearl Harbor, Unit 731 carries on undeterred. Since the unit is now officially part of the army, they receive new orders. Push the human body to extreme conditions to see how it reacts.
What?
To study frostbite, prisoners are forced to stand outside barefoot. Specific body parts are submerged in water to freeze them. Prisoners are locked in pressure chambers to test how much pressure the human body can withstand until their eyes pop out of their skulls. Women were forced to become pregnant to study how diseases like syphilis transmit from mother to child and how likely that child is to survive. Even though a large number of babies were born in captivity in Pingfang, most likely none survived. We could go on forever. The list of unspeakable, unimaginable atrocities is so unbearably long. In the labs, there are large 2-meter tanks where human bodies float in formaldehyde, cut in half from head to toe. In other jars, body parts are stored.
They're keeping these niggas captive in fucking chambers like they're fucking animals or some shit, gang. Like they're Margwas from Black Ops 3 or something. They keeping them captive in fucking chambers, gang. What the fuck?
Neatly labeled and documented. Feet, hands, heads, organs. Next door, the bioweapon production is in full swing. Division 4 of Unit 731 produces 1 ton of cholera bacteria, 500 kilograms of...
There's no possible... Maybe I'm just dumb, but there's no possible way every single person that was working in that whole area or working in that shit was all on the same page, my nigga. I ain't gonna lie, bro. I ain't gonna lie. There's no way they were every single person was on the same page wavelength wise, bro. There's no way they all was thinking the same thing and thought it was just okay to just do this shit to the humans and make them the test experiments for all this extra shit. There's no way. I don't see, bro. Come on, bro. And I don't know if they were signed under no crazy ass, I don't know what the fuck was going on during that time. They was. That's just like, bro. Gang. Imagine. I can't imagine that, bro. I can't. I genuinely can't. I don't even want other niggas to imagine that. But it's like, just imagine you starting your new job or something like that, bro. And you get into that job and you find out you got to be on the same wavelength as these niggas, this, that, and the third. Or you might either die. It's more than just getting fired or anything like that. Nigga, that's hell. That's fucking hell, gang. And you find out that all of this shit is going on behind the scenes, bro.
Anthrax and 700 kilograms of typhus bacteria per month. They develop bioweapon bombs and test them in the field. On a test site, prisoners are tied to stakes and bombarded with test weapons. Planes spray parts of occupied zones with bacterial cultures, and bombs filled with infected fleas are dropped on areas. The unit wants to know how and weapons. Planes spray parts of occupied zones with bacterial cultures, and bombs filled with infected fleas are dropped on areas. The unit wants to know how many people will die. Troops contaminate wells and water sources with cholera and typhus. At its peak, the unit's bacterial production could wipe out the entire world population multiple times over.
Oh, that is true. A lot of people do not like this whatsoever.
After long years of war,
they probably weren't. Was probably no niggas in there thinking like they shouldn't do this shit or nothing like that. Act 5, protecting the research.
After long years of war, World War II is finally drawing to a close. The Allies control most of the Pacific. Japan's major allies, Italy and Germany, have long since surrendered. Japan is the only Axis power still fighting. On August 6 and on August 9, 1945, the US drops atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, pushing Japan towards surrender. Now, something stirs in Pingfang. In a panic, Unit 731 scrambles to destroy all evidence of their crimes. Their research can't be allowed to fall into Soviet hands. They gas the remaining prisoners and shoot the forced laborers. The remains of bodies are thrown into a nearby river. On August 10, 1945, 5 days before Japan's surrender, the unit blows up all its buildings. Infected test animals are released into the wild, causing major epidemics in the region. Around 30,000 people die as a result. Ishii takes the most crucial records with him. He and other senior officials fly back to Japan in comfort. The rest of the staff travels in 15 freight trains, then disappears. They leave behind 2 million biological weapons in Manchuria. Similar scenes play out at other sites of Ishii's institute. Overall, at least 580,000 people die due to Japan's bioweapons research. At least 580 other sites of Ishii's institute. Overall, at least 580,000 people die due to Japan's bioweapons research.
No. Like now? Is he talking about during the time? Or are you talking about just in total? Like overall? During the time, right? Because I'm not gonna lie, bro. To think about that shit now, as a person that's genuinely wanted to go to Japan, still as the top one place, I ain't gonna lie, bro. Imagine watching this shit on your way to Japan. That plane ride might turn into hell. And then you gonna feel the turbulence, you start shaking and doing all this extra shit. That plane ride might turn into fucking hell. Holy shit.
Fearing he might be charged as a war criminal, Ishii stages a large fake funeral for himself in 1945 in his hometown of Chiyoda. But is a large fearing he might be charged as a war criminal, Ishii stages a fearing he might be charged as a war criminal, Ishii stages a large fake funeral for himself in 1945 in his hometown of Chiyoda. But the ruse fails. In February 1946, he is found by the US Army. The Americans already know about Japan's bioweapons research center. The Cold War is already looming. They too have experimented with bioweapons during World War II. Cold War is already looming. They too have experimented with bioweapons during World War II. And they are after the Japanese data.
Such information could not be obtained in our own laboratories because of scruples attached to human experimentation.
Like the Japanese, they think this data must not fall into Soviet hands. The Japanese bioweapons researchers see an opportunity to escape punishment for their crimes. The meetings and interviews between the US and Ishii's group are well documented.
If you grant me immunity for myself, my superiors, and my subordinates, I can give you all the information. In preparing for war with Russia, I offer you the advantage of my 20 years of research and experience.
The details of the negotiations remain disputed. What is clear is that the information is deemed by the US to be
of such importance to national security as to far outweigh the value accruing from war crimes prosecution.
They strike a deal. None of the senior bioweapons researchers, including Ishii, ever faces trial. While Nazi doctors are tried as war criminals at Nuremberg, most of the Japanese involved live out their lives free from prosecution. The Soviet army captures 12 members of Unit 731 and puts them on trial in Khabarovsk in late 1949.
We got glasses on like you know what they talking about. Motherfucker, I got glasses on first and foremost, motherfucker. Cause I said in the title I got a little headache. These are blue light. You know, so I'm not just looking at screens with a headache and shit. Second of all, motherfucker, I'm not going to confirm. I don't fully know what they talking about, but I'm understanding what they talking about. I'm hearing it. They killed over 580,000 niggas in Japan through diseases and everything that they dropped on these niggas.
Prosecution.
Now it's
they strike a deal. None of the senior bioweapons researchers, including Ishii, ever faces trial. While Nazi doctors are tried as war criminals at Nuremberg, most of the Japanese involved live out their lives free from prosecution. The Soviet army captures 12 members of Unit 731 and puts them on trial in Khabarovsk in late 1949. They confess to dropping bombs filled with plague-infected fleas on civilians. They speak of inhumane experiments on humans. The West dismisses all of it as a communist show trial. After short...
I don't know if you noticed, Brody, but my dad is a sheriff. You would love to be seeing that. I know your first and last name too, Brody. I know exactly what street you live on. I know what city you live in. I know what county you live in. Yeah, say goodbye.
For prison sentences,
Fuck,
they
boy.
are released. They too use the research data to secure leniency. By 1956, the convicted were free and returned to Japan. Many of the leading bioweapons researchers lived quietly in Japan in the following decades. The war criminals who have dissected living bodies rose to positions of power. The governor of Tokyo, the head of Japan's biggest pharmaceutical company, the president of the Japan Medical Association, and other major offices. There's overwhelming evidence that the Japanese government knew about the atrocities. Yet, it wasn't until August 2002 that the Tokyo District Court finally ruled that Japan had engaged in biological warfare.
Its main purpose was to research, develop, and produce biological weapons.
I know where they voiced that from.
Its main purpose was to research, develop, and produce biological weapons. In order to do this, prisoners from the Chinese resistance forces were used as the subjects for experiments.
But no compensation was awarded.
The people were used, gang.
In 2018, the Japanese National Archives released a list of the 3,607 members of Unit 731. Ishii didn't live to see it. He died of throat cancer in 1959. Before his death, he regularly attended reunions of his former unit. Almost every year, former members gather. some still deny to this day that they ever participated in human experiments.
A lie. Now they just sitting there. Now they sitting there and act like nothing ever happened. How they didn't know what the hell was going on, and how they were experimenting on humans through all these diseases and trying all the diseases that they could possibly concoct up on the humans. They were killing over 500,000 niggas, gang. Yeah, Barney, you lost all your brain cells, bro. I can tell you lost all your brain cells. I told you stop picking up that cart, bro. Put down the nicotine, man. Dead ass. What do you mean that's not a bad thing to do? So you're telling me they discover a new disease and it's deadly, it's killer. You want them to test it on your peoples, Barney? You want them to be the first test people? What are we talking about? What do you mean think about it? What am I thinking about? Yeah, see, he lost his mind. Yeah, Barney lost all his brain cells, bro. Yep, it's that cart, bro. Yep, it's that cart. It's that cart. I'm knowing. But yeah, yeah, Calvin. Yep, I know exactly. My dad is a sheriff. Yep. My dad is a sheriff, and I seen that message. Yeah, say goodbye, buddy. Better be ready to turn yourself in. Yeah, Barney, I ain't gonna lie, bro. Yeah, listen. I know you trying to troll and things like that. I understand, bro, you know. But you gotta think, bro. 500,000 niggas, gang. 500,000 niggas. Yeah, bro. Exactly. Niggas like Barney, bro. And niggas like damn Barney. But I guarantee they come knocking at his damn door. He gonna be fucked up. You gonna be fucked up and don't not know what to damn do, motherfucker. And they trying to throw you into a secret lab. Motherfucker. Hey, bro, but Tokyo, that, I'm not gonna lie, for vacation wise, yes, that it was still top one. But the lore down there is fucking garbage. Like, it's fucking, like, that shit, I can see why it would turn a lot of people away, though. I can see why it would turn a lot of people away. 1,000,000%. I'm gonna be honest, I can see. Because the lore is fucking ruthless. It's fucking ruthless. Barney, you can't even be a hero for yourself sometimes, man. I ain't gonna lie, bro. How are you gonna be a hero for the damn world? How? Motherfucker? Hero? Alright. Anyway. Hey man, shout out Fern, bro. Good informational videos.